Good afternoon. My name is Juwan Weir, and I'm a student at Columbia Southern University, and I am in the local government class 6304, and I will be doing a presentation for you in regards to the fiscal impact of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act on nonprofits. This act was signed into law on December 20th, 2017, and it became effective at the beginning of this year, January 1st, 2018. This law actually was introduced to reduce tax deductions, which would ideally simplify tax returns and in return increase job opportunities that will enhance the U.S. economy. The reason why it was considered to increase job opportunities and enhance the U.S. economy, because later on we will highlight on how individuals will be in a lower tax bracket. So typically when you're saving money, it will be ideal for companies to start businesses and hire because they will be saving some money. Some of the key features of this act was, again, the simplicity. The House Majority Whip had said that over 90% of Americans will now be able to file their income taxes on a postcard. And I know for me, that's attractive because I spend a lot of time preparing my taxes. And to him, that's what simplicity meant. There's also going to be a significant reduction in the tax brackets for single individuals and those married filing jointly. An individual that's single, making a roughly $38,000 a year is going to go from a 15% tax bracket to a 12% bracket. And individuals married filing jointly will be able to go from $75,900. They can earn up to $90,000 and move from a 15% tax bracket to a 12% tax bracket. Again, it's proposed to save some money on the personal side, and those who typically use standard deductions will have that amount almost double what they on the downside. They won't be able to get personal exemptions. We don't really want to go into a lot of tax discussion, but we really want to look at how this policy will impact nonprofits. Unfortunately, there was a quote in the article that's referenced by Gates that individuals really on the Republican side in Congress really made a sprint to pass this tax reform by the end of 2017. And because of that, it's presumed that this was an unintentional impact on the charitable giving nonprofits, the money that they receive in the communities that they serve, because this bill will cause ideally individuals who don't get to itemize and those who won't be able to, when we go and write our taxes, we gave to Goodwill, whatever our favorite nonprofit is, be able to write off that $500, et cetera. We won't be able to do that now. And so a lot of individuals who don't receive that benefit, they may just choose not to support the organizations. So as you know, with anything, there's an old theory that says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so this bill is definitely no different. And as I was mentioning earlier, it's forecasted that fewer individuals will give because they don't have the ability to receive the deductions. One article anticipated that there will be about 28 million fewer individuals itemizing their tax returns. And by them not doing so, this will result in approximately a $13 billion loss for the charitable giving organizations. But the Tax Policy Center actually projects that the income can be up to $20 billion. And George Washington University, a study that came out from their forecast that this could cost at least 220,000 individuals to lose their jobs. So we all know, working in the public sector, we've been familiar with this. This is setting up the premise that you have to do more with less. Another negative impact that this law will have on nonprofits is the ability to know exactly what the loss is going to be. Because the law went into effect this year, January 1, 2018, taxes aren't due until April 2019. So therefore, all the budgets for 2020 may later have to be amended because nonprofits won't know until April 2019 what the full implication of the law has. As citizens and those who follow the law, we need to be prepared that future changes may come to the state income tax reporting because we all know that typically changes in the federal law precede changes in the state law. This bill, in my opinion, hurt nonprofits in three ways. Um, Not only are they going to potentially receive less money because of less donors, Congress is also proposing funding cuts. As we mentioned earlier, they're going to probably have less personnel to assist in their organization. So there's going to be some suggestions throughout the presentation made, and ideally Congress will go back and create a win-win scenario. I looked at the collegiate university in regards to this policy impact, specifically Morehouse College. I selected the collegiate um, scene or collegiate sector because a lot of individuals forget that there are nonprofit colleges and universities, and there are currently 38 listed in the state of Georgia. I selected Georgia because that's where I reside. And the financial livelihood of this sector is based off of philanthropy support. Charitable giving is critical for academics to be attractive and enhanced, school infrastructure to be maintained, and scholarships to be provided. So this new law can have a significant impact on all nonprofit colleges and universities. For those who are not familiar, Morehouse was founded in 1867, is now in Atlanta, Georgia, and is the only HBCU for men in the world. And they financially, or they solicit financial giving primarily by steward and donor relations, corporation and foundation supporters, affinity groups, and planned giving. And for Morehouse, affinity groups are almost like a catch-all. That includes their alum, faith-based, parents, fraternal organizations, and the like. And the planned giving is typically wills, trusts, beneficiaries, etc. And this proposed Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, beyond the reduction in donors, I've identified three other ways that the school could be financially impacted. The least is in regards to the provision to exchange athletic event tickets or seating rights for charitable organizations. Morehouse has a dedicated, strong alum base that supports the athletic team and events. And not only Morehouse, but I'm thinking like UGA and Alabama and some of these big universities, they have individuals who like to receive tickets, dedicated seating so they can write a big check, and that's no longer on the table. The next significant impact will be the elimination of the Hope Scholarship and lifetime learning credit. I know from attending an HBCU, and specifically here in Georgia, we need many of us needed the Hope Scholarship to assist with tuition and other related expenses. But now that that's no longer going to be an option, individuals may look at attending schools that can provide more competitive tuition assistance. And as a result, this may create a potential impact on enrollment. And enrollment numbers are looked for many other financial opportunities, bringing in sponsors for different things. So this law has caused a trickle-down effect. And the most significant impact will be the provision that will basically eliminate estate taxes. And we mentioned earlier how Morehouse solicits from estates and charitable trusts. And I know that most individuals didn't realize that the threshold has increased to $11.2 million in 2018, and is forecasted in this new bill to eventually eliminate all the estate taxes. So right now for 2018, if your state is up to 11.2 million, you don't have to worry about tax. And many wealthy individuals would make donations to organizations to reduce the taxes that their heirs would have to bear. And so now you may have an heir that says, do I want to leave this X number of dollars to this organization that I may not have a relationship with, or put that money in the pocket? Depending on that person, most may heir to put that money in the pocket. And so some suggested actions nonprofits can take are going to be in the next few slides. But we shouldn't look at everything as a negative. And so this policy implication, yes, starting it off negative, but nonprofits have an opportunity to be proactive and get ahead of the curve. One way that they can do that is by providing educational material to existing and potential donors. By doing so, they can share that the AGI, which is the adjusted gross income, has increased 10%. And what that means is, if you look simplistically, if somebody made $100,000, 10% is $10,000 that they could ideally reduce their taxable wages. So the less money that you're showing that you earn, the less that you have to pay. And so they can educate individuals on that. They can also educate individuals in their respective state if this is a provision that you could possibly still itemize the charitable deductions on the state income tax. This by far is a great win-win because it still allows for the simplicity of a simple filing structure, but it will still give that carrying stick for individuals. Individuals should continue to target high income individuals. I gave the scenario previously on how to reduce that money, but just remember, if you're watching the video, that you need to speak to a tax professional about your respective situation. Communication and marketing efforts need to be continued. Ideally, individuals will contribute, not because of that carrying stick deduction, but because of the rapport that they have with the organization, that organization's mission and impact. So nonprofits can use this as an opportunity to really share and highlight their positive influence in of the organization in the community and the needs for the service it provides. Nonprofits is very important for them to consult their attorney or tax consultant. Ideally, if this person is not an employee, they're on retainer or easily accessible, because there are a lot of provisions that don't impact every nonprofit. But one significant impact would be the excise tax. That's going to be a 21% penalty. That's not what the law calls it, but that's the easy way to help individuals understand if you're highly compensated. This is applicable to large nonprofits, colleges, and universities. You won't see this in the hospitals. Hospitals are exempt. But if you have someone that's compensated more than $1 million, you have to have that excise tax penalty. And lastly, a suggestion for nonprofits is to use a lobbyist or third-party organization to help convince or lobby Congress to protect the tax breaks or implement other options. Nonprofits like the United Way, that's one of my favorite organizations, they've been ahead of the curve, contacting Congress in regards to their concerns. And lastly, nonprofit leaders could do a little bit more research and speak to Congress in regards to implementing a universal charitable deduction. This is similar to an example that I gave earlier in regards to presenting a win-win situation. Again, this will allow contributions to still be received as a benefit by a taxpayer, but still allow for simple tax reporting. This was a high-level overview of the fiscal impact of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of nonprofits. would really encourage individuals to really look at this law, not only from a personal standpoint, but as an employee standpoint. This law impacts other sectors. So you would want to take some time, and this is a great segue to share my resources, my references that I have on the next 2 pages. Again, my name is Jawan Ware, and I thank you for allowing me to share this.